we're going to hand over to His Excellency. After this, we'll have one more segment, then that will be it for the Q&A. But now we have to hand over to His Excellency.
Thank you. I wish I saw the faces of those who asked those questions very clearly. Igwe Polo, I remember you on Facebook. Yeah, how are you? Okay, now I'm seeing you in real person. Okay. Okay. Thank you. He was one of my first friends on Facebook. And every morning I always interacted with him. But I'd never met him. Well, Igwe Polo, I hope that's your real name. Igwe Polo. Igwe Polo gave us his ideas about education, which I believe accords with reality, how it should be. It is important for us to educate our people, because without education, they become spectators. I started off in my political career by saying that what we require in Bayelsa State are three things: human capital development, infrastructure development, and employment. Because I felt that you can build all the beautiful roads, but if these roads do not impact on the pockets of our people, then our people can become spectators. They can come out as well every morning to come and look at the beautiful roads you are building and go back in. That was how the oil company started with us. They came out, and I remember as a kid seeing Shell those days. They were doing some drilling work behind my community. And believe it or not, in the morning, grown-up men will all troop out to go and wonder at what Shell is doing. They were so intrigued by what was going on. They didn't understand the technology. And they say, Apo, Uyibo people. And they come back home. Before they knew it, Shell was taking all the oil from under their community. And then they woke up a few years ago, and then they started making trouble. But it was already too late. Why did that happen? Because our people were not educated. So they were not part of the process. So they were spectators. By the time they woke up, their day was over. It was the day of their children. And of course, you all were witnesses to what happened in the Niger Delta. We don't want that to happen again. And that is why we must pay attention to education. Having said that, talking about teacher salaries, if you take the data of all the teacher salaries in Nigeria, and I want anybody to prove me wrong, Bayelsa State is paying one of the highest salaries in this country to teachers today. We pay one of the highest. In fact, the other day I had to send the teachers themselves to go out there and get data. I'm not going to call names of states, but to a level 10 officer at that time, that state was paying 70-something thousand or so, whereas we were paying close to 200,000. You can't even compare. The difference, I can't remember the exact figures, but the difference was more than double what we were paying. So we pay our teachers. And I've also started paying attention to the training of our teachers. Some of you will recall that, yes, last year, we brought a Canadian group that came to retrain our teachers. This year, we have an arrangement with the Commonwealth for the retraining of our teachers. In fact, a few months ago, they wanted me to identify one teacher for training in the UK. So we are doing quite a bit. But let us look at it from both ends, at all times. Because I realize that we always like to look at it from the point of the government, but never from the point of those who are teaching. You must be dedicated to your job as well. And I think that accounts for more. Because if a teacher is dedicated to his job, he can achieve wonders even in the face of so many challenges. Are our teachers so dedicated? It is possible for those of you who are here with me to start an advocacy to get the teachers to really become very dedicated to their jobs. When I came in, I found a proposal on my desk for gifted children's schools. I love the idea, but I decided to put it a little bit in abeyance because I felt that before we develop gifted children's schools, I must identify the gifted teachers. Because if we don't have the gifted teachers, I don't know how those gifted children can do well. Igwe Polo, I hope you are satisfied. The barrister talked about private school fees. I'm happy that you are talking about private school fees. Almost everyone here, I believe, that has a child of school age has that child in a private school. Am I wrong? And we pay exorbitant fees. And we are complaining. But if I build a good school, and I say, okay, send your children to that school and pay me just half of what you are paying to those private schools, all of you will say, oh, free education, free water, free food, free education, free health, free electricity. You see, we have a proverb that free things always hang for throat. That is the problem we all have. We must try to see how we can give a little bit. I want to build schools, but the problem is, you build the schools, beautiful schools you build, and you say, okay, these are free schools. How do you sustain them? In a year, you go back, you want to cry. Because all the beautiful things that you put in there are all damaged. And then the next year, you are required to replace them. We must try to build things on a sustainable basis. Pay tax. No, no tax. You don't want to pay. You don't. Bayelsa civil servants pay the least tax in the whole country. I tried to just raise it to the minimum of the national level, and there was an uproar. You are all aware of it. Some of you are part of that uproar. The only source of funding I have is from the Federation account. And the Federation account is completely out of my control. If this month I send my commissioner to Abuja and they write a check for him for 2 billion and he comes back with it, that's what I have. Because they don't even give me the time or space to complain. So you are so dependent on something that you are totally not in control of. Now, if I want to exercise my head, trying to get some ingenious way of generating funds, I must get the buy-in of the people. But the people here that I know in Bayelsa are people who want free things from morning, free thing in the afternoon, free things in the evening. And nothing should be paid for. They don't want to contribute either their fund, their money, or even their time. How do we develop our state like this? Now you are complaining, and I'm happy that you are complaining. In fact, I will have a meeting with all private school owners of private schools. Let them even increase those fees a little bit. That is on a lighter note. Because I want all of us to come together and see how we can develop our schools and get our children into the public schools. When we were there, our parents were struggling to pay small fees. I don't want to make profit from the schools. If you say schools are free in America, check their taxation. They pay all kinds of educational taxes to support the free education. I don't have any problem with free education. But somehow, some way or the other, you must pay for it. Either at the point of taxation, or you pay directly to the school. But here, you don't want to pay the tax to support the education. You also don't want to pay the fees. You want to eat your cake and still have it. You see, let's face it, this thing is not magic. I did not tell Bayelsans that I'm a magician. I told all of you that I'm here to work with you. I can only succeed if you work with me. If you don't work with me, I will not succeed. I tell everyone that no matter what vision I have, if that vision is not shared by you, it is a no vision. And today, how many of you share the vision of a great Bayelsa state? If you share the vision of a great Bayelsa state, then what are you doing to achieve that great Bayelsa state? The little thing we all will do somehow will contribute to the greatness of Bayelsa. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do something about the private school fees. I'm going to have a meeting with them, and I'm going to pay attention to private school fees. But seriously, at some point, I let some of these things happen because I wanted some of you to take notice so that we can begin to talk about them, so that we can find a way forward. Now that you have noticed, I can see that the time has come for us to find a way forward.